Hello everyone. Hey. Sorry for the delay. Had to make a coffee. All right. Bug smashing time. Hey Pulp User. Hey Nefonzov. Hey Nanometer. Everyone's here. Okay. What's on the menu? I have on the menu, I have a huge swath of changes that need, like I have a bunch of regressions lying around that are just in my local copy. Wait, I have merge conflicts. Give me a second. Okay, let me show you. Those two dumps need to go away, I think. Just making sure I'm not leaking anything I'm not supposed to leak. Okay. I think that's about it. All right. So I have a bunch of repros lying around, like all these new files you see here. And there's one that has a conflict for some reason. I guess I have checked that in. And I have at least one more on my Windows machine, which we can turn on. And I wanna look at some of them, see if there are some that we can fix today. But I definitely want to get all of them into our test suite and mark them as failed tests at least, so that they're not just in my local copy, because they have been here. I had stashed them now for a while, but they have been here for ages. And I don't like them having them just on my local. Like I keep them here as a reminder that there are things that we know are broken that need investigation. And if I put them in a test suite and mark them as broken, I might forget to look at them. That's why I kept them here. But it's also bad that they're not like in the repo. And if my machine burns down, I have backups. But it feels like this should be checked in. So we're gonna see which one of them are still valid. There should be one. Maybe this was the wrong. I am missing some. Like there was an insert repeatedly. There it is. Yeah, this has been. I have known that this is an issue for ages, and this needs to be fixed. It looks like no one has hit any of these because they're all like things that I found over the time. I don't think any of these have been reported, but still. Okay. Yeah, let's start by looking at this one. Which was it? What the fork? Okay, A, why do we have the M's here? I don't know why that happens from time to time. No, I said paste. I'm too stupid to paste. Come on. I said yank till the end. Let's try this once more. There we go. Okay. So it looks like a... Okay, but it seems like this one is under version control. Let me just check its history. Yeah, okay, so we can just discard this one. But the other ones are new. And let's open the Windows machine. And add the one from Windows. I have to take a look. Let's move this over here. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, when I did the Steam integration, I found one. I think both of those. Let's see if. Let's try to repro them before we add them. I've been. So my typing is going to be extra awful today because yesterday I worked on a remote desktop into a machine, like from my Mac with a Windows Mac OS keyboard. I remote desktoped into a machine with a US keyboard, a Windows machine with a US keyboard. And now I'm like, my muscle memory, and I worked there for several hours. And it's the last thing I did yesterday. So now my muscle memory for where all the special characters are is completely broken. So I keep on the backslash and I keep typing this because that's where it is on my Windows keyboard. Not my Windows, my German keyboard. What did I say? I might have messed up all the words in the previous sentence. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I hope the stream turns out all right. How's the volume, by the way? Everything good? Let me know if it's too loud, too quiet, too many weird noises. I don't know. You found that Windows Terminal is fine if you install Clink. I don't know what that is. You still have that Fab app? You mean Fabman? Yes, very much. I've worked on it this morning a bit. I worked on it yesterday quite a bit. We're adding a new supervision feature that's been in the plans for half a year or something, and I finally got to working on it. Yeah. So yeah, it's well, I still have it as in like it's my company and one of my sources of incomes, and yes, no plan of giving that up. Okay, we have tests, no modules. Let's see if we can reproduce that. Where's the underscore? There it is. Yeah. So this is good. But this is for Windows. So this repro we will only be able to reproduce on Windows. But maybe it's something we can look into. Like, let's look at the original. Maybe this is a good start. Yeah, Commander is where is it? It's Conimu, right? Ah, okay. So this is where you have the command R, etc. Is that, or control R, these kinds of things? That's coming from C-Link or Clink or whatever, maybe. Oh, isn't this like, I love NeoWim on Windows, NeoWim Qt. It has so many great features. One of them is this, like from time to time, this is its window size when I open it, which is the perfect window size for basically any monitor. Like I love working in here. Let's actually try that. I want Steam exam. No, I have to first CD. Fuck, my muscle memory is so broken. What just happened? Press enter, type blah. Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to make this like program like this for a minute, but it seems like I can't even. What does it say? Nothing. Why did it say something before? Okay. Steam examples. So this is what it looks like now to work around the compiler bug. But actually, yeah, I wanted to do this, but then we get the error that like non-matching Windows file cases for this import. If you do it like this, it's fine. So I think that might be an easy one Almost matching file names theme. Might be an easy one to fix, so maybe that's a good start into the day since I'm a bit tired, etc. We're starting to compiler work. I've been working for a while, but not on this. So let's search for that message. This is killing me. This is what's worse about Vim. Like in any other editor, you can kind of type, like if you switch from, I don't know, US keyboard to German keyboard, you can still work in most editors just fine. But on Vim, since everything is like I can't even open or split or anything because like the double colon, what do you call it? No, the double, what is this called? Is it colon? Oh, God. Guys, I'm tired. Maybe it's the wrong day to stream. Whatever this symbol is, colon, yeah. Colon is on my keyboard, it's below the L, like shift below the L. On a US keyboard, it's shift and what is Ö on my keyboard, which is this character, like an O umlaut. And now I keep hitting that when I want to enter a command. Yeah. Okay, whatever. We'll get through this. Bear with me. I'm getting weird stuff with Windows also happening with Arc. Seems to be from Windows moving between different screens. Oh yeah, no, this is nothing to do with different screens. This is just NeoWim sucking at saving its last window position, I think. And from time to time, it just saves garbage, and then we have this great 100 pixel window. Couldn't you just switch layouts on Windows? I don't want to switch layouts on Windows. I want to have my layout. Like, it's just, I had to switch. The problem is, this is a Mac keyboard, okay? It has very different keys than a Windows keyboard. Like all the special characters are in different places. Even like a German Mac keyboard and a German Windows keyboard have several symbols in different places. So I have if I remote desktop into a Windows machine that has a US layout, yes, I could switch to a Windows German layout, but then I can't type with my German Mac layout. I cannot type some of the German. I can type everything on a US Windows layout. I cannot type everything on a Windows German layout with a Mac German keyboard because I don't have Alt-Gr, which is like the right Alt on a German Windows keyboard. I don't have that on the Mac. I have two Alts, but the right one doesn't register as Alt-Gr. And so I can't type, I think, backslashes, for example. If I pick a Windows keyboard here, I can't type a backslash. So I have to have, for this to work properly, I have this lovely, absolutely terrible app called PowerToys. And I have, is it here? Yeah, you can see that I have a bunch of aliases configured so that I can type certain characters as they are on macOS and they turn up right on Windows for many, whatever. And if I don't have this mapping and I remote desktop into a Windows machine with my German macOS keyboard, it's just a nightmare to type. So in these cases, I have to pick the US layout on those machines because then I can at least reach every character, even though they're on different places, but at least I can type everything. If I switch to a German keyboard, I can't type certain things that you need for programming, which is very bad. Okay, we actually wanted to say ripgrep non-matching Windows something and see where this happens. Oh, we have two of those. Which one is it? What's the difference? Ah, okay. If we don't have a site, we do something else. And yes, it is gross. Correct. Can we do something about that? I don't know. Whatever. We have to make sure that this one, we don't hit this one. Shall we try? Why not? Let's do something fun. Oh, I have to do the Windows. Wait. We'll figure this out. Let's see what Rat Debugger has been up to. Let's pull the latest master, which is not that far. Ooh, no, this is still ancient. Wise Ma. Oh no, it's not ancient. Never mind. It's from yesterday. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted. So let's do this one and go to where do we have it? Project. No, not program files. And we say build. Is RipGrub embedded in Vim? No, it's a plugin, as everything as everything is for Vim. Yes, RipGrub respects circuit ignore, but I have a separate RG ignore because I want to have additional, like especially on the game, I don't want RipGrub to search all the assets every time I'm RipGrabbing, so I have a special RipGrub ignore, whatever it's called. I think it's good that it respects circuit ignore, right? You can always do the, I think -u or -dot, one of them. I think, isn't -u enough to search the get ignored files? I think it is. So if you do rg-u, I think that does. Okay, whatever. We have a new version of Rat Debugger. Hello, nice. Okay, and so we can, like, I've rarely used the Rat Debugger, to be honest, but I should use it more. I like it when I use it. So we're gonna try to debug this with the Rat Debugger. No, it's a bad idea. No, we can't. Sad. I have to, maybe we should do a Ryan co-stream at some point to see if I can do the things, because one thing I need when I work on the compiler is I need to print syntax tree nodes, and Rat has awesome visualization features, so maybe we can replace my debug dump AST feature that you'll see in a minute. Maybe we can replace that with some built-in Rat Debugger tools, then I can use it more. But on the compiler, I can rarely use it because I'm missing one key feature, as the headline on YouTube would say. Okay. Oh, I totally want your update. Yeah, I'm sure. Go away. We want the debug compiler. We want to debug. This is so stupid to set up, but whatever. So sorry, Rat Debugger. We cannot use you. Copy path. Boom. Project here is correct. We want no jobs just to be safe, doesn't hurt. And we want somewhere in here, we want to change something so that, oh, you know what, let's just break there. It's an interp. Non-case something, was it? What was the message? Non-matching. Boom, and let's go. I said let's go. No, NetWiz is easy to replace in Red Debugger. Actually, I think it has way better features than NetWiz. So if NetWiz is preventing you from using Red Debugger, you can work like you can do better things than NetWiz simpler. So if you tell me what your problem is, I might be able to redirect you to something. But the problem is what it can't do is this direct execution window that we have here. It's called Direktfenster in German, which is not a word. It's just bullshit. But hello? What's happening? We are running, right? What the fork are you doing? Oh, that's a good one. So I just paused in case you were wondering. Okay. This is a good break point. This is a good time to stop. Okay, what are we doing? What are you doing, Visual Studio? I totally wanted you to load symbols right now when I press continue. This is perfect. There we are. Wow, that only took ages. Okay, we have the error. So this is because it fails up here because we're doing what? We have a file path of Steam examples ... And we are doing what? I guess we would say wait, this is not right. Over here, detect Windows file case error. Is there anything that we can easily break on? Oh, we could just, let's copy. Of course I cannot. I want to copy the value. Give me the value. Is there a way to easily get the value like this, right? Yeah. So we're going to say if structcomp file path blah equals 0, then, and of course I can't find, oh, there it is. The problem with being in like, if you don't know where things are, because I just type the parentheses when I need them, or the braces. I don't know actually where they are. I just know where I have to hit, like my fingers know where to hit if I want the parentheses. Now the problem is if you break that by switching between keyboard layouts too often, I don't have the problem where like my fingers hit the wrong key, but I can't even look to see what the right key is because like this keyboard doesn't have them at all. They're not printed, like there are no curly braces are visible on that keyboard at all. So even if I can't find them by looking, and I can't find them by just typing because my muscle memory is screwed by switching keyboards. So I kind of have to hit various keys until I find the right thing. Hey, Valigo. Visual Studio streamer. Is that a, like, shall I take that as a, what's the opposite of a compliment? That's why you only use English EU keyboard, and now I can't type in my native language. Exactly. That's the problem. Kawabanga. Wow, I hit all the right... I hit the right keys for all the special characters. Okay, so what are we doing? We get the white path, okay, and we say create file, and handle is, what is invalid handle value? Can you please let me jump? Okay, it's not invalid handle value. We get a handle, so this should be fine. So accepted should still be true. Yes. Why is this so tiny? Why are we working with like half of our screen? No. No, I hate whoever had whoever was green lighting the fact that dragging windows should be something that you can do all the time without without enabling a special mode should be like not just fired, like they should burn in hell. Like it's great that you can adjust the layout, but it should be something where you say no, click the adjust layout button and then move things around. That you can just by accident undock windows is such an anti-feature, in my opinion. Like, I don't want to know how many non-super savvy Windows users have shot themselves in the foot where they had to reinstall Office or something because their toolbar, their menu bar disappeared or something because by accident they clicked here and dragged it off and couldn't find it anymore. Oh no, now yeah, like, look at this. Like, look at what we just did. Fork them. Where was this? Where was this? Far. Burn in hell. It was not here, but I don't know how to put it somewhere else. Like, no. That's like, they must have done some user tests. Like, if you do one user test with this feature, you immediately see that it's a bad idea, right? How? Okay, wherever. Let's continue. Let's enjoy the craziness that is Visual Studio and continue. So we're accepting this. We do the canonical blah. Okay, the Windows canonical is gonna be a wide string, but okay, I can see wide strings here, even though it's a bit silly. Okay, we have this, and we have org after slash, and org is white file. Okay, so the problem is we strip, like we have a dot slash here, and the canonical thing after the slash is nothing, of course, but it makes no sense to compare those two. I guess we can just early exit, like if the length of canonical after slash is 0. No, sorry. If the length of org after slash is 0, we can just ignore this error. I think that's a good enough fix for this problem. So we say if and I guess we need a wide string length or something. I don't even know how I do string length on a wide string. Maybe we can, like, actually we can early exit. How do we, like, like, I can either do the wide string length here, or we could just take the original string and do the after slash check with it. Is there a wide string length? Luckily I never had to do anything with wide strings ever. Not result. Oh, wait, wrong expression. Go away, go more away. So is there something like that? This is such a bad editor. I should have switched to Vim. VC SLAN? I guess characters were super expensive back then. Thank you. So what day is it? It's April 2017. 17. Fuck, April is almost over. And we can do this way earlier. If we don't care about canonical. Yeah, we could totally move this up. It doesn't really matter. But we can skip this stuff. This is also stupid. Like we checked here, this we can assert here instead. Fuck this editor. Assert size greater than 0. Okay, simplification. What's its problem with this one? Why is this green? What does green mean? Is this the AI thinks it's stupid? Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Okay, does this make sense? If we have a final path name, blah, or do we just ignore this and do it even earlier? Maybe we do it even earlier. Like if the file exists, we're fine. So let's do this here. But we shouldn't, now this is wrong, this else needs to be here. Trust me, what I'm doing makes sense. Okay. And I keep pressing Command Save. So if you're wondering why this keeps popping up, because I keep pressing Command Save, but Command is the Windows key on Windows, so I have to press Control Save here. But if I press Command Save, even if I make it a keyboard shortcut by saying like hold Command, press S, leave release Command, Windows still thinks it was just a Windows key press and pops up, which is awesome. It's exactly what. Guys, I'm gonna murder someone. This is the second most stupid feature on Windows from a Mac's perspective. This one, because I have this mouse, which doesn't have a scroll wheel, but just like on macOS, it's awesome that you have smooth scrolling. But if you have something that has smooth scrolling and you use any editor on Windows, you constantly, if you press Control for a split second and touch the mouse, you get this, which is, woo, which is such. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna stop ranting. I'll try it. So can we get the right? No, right font size. Okay, this is kind of. Okay, let's pretend that this went fine. And I duplicated this for some reason. That was not out. Okay, I guess we should check our diff because we might have fucked up quite a few things. Yeah, we changed this one. That's fine. Okay, this looks sensible. Good. Let's try this. So we have this Cowabunga happening, and now we check this is fine, and then we still accept, we get after slash, and if that happens, we continue. So everything's fine, and our program should work. Except, of course, that this... guess we copy the whole thing. Because, no. Because I changed something after this. I discovered the bug. Looks good. I don't know why we're so slow that we spend 3 seconds. Oh, is this the price we pay? Wait, was this a... It's a debug compiler. Why does it take 3 seconds to compile this? I don't know. Let's do this one. No, normally it's fine. So why do we take 3 seconds on this one? How bad is it with the release compiler? Let's remove the Kawabanga first. There's something, it might be that the Steam bindings are so big that we take 3 seconds. We should look. No, it's not, almost nothing. It's 20,000 lines. I mean, 20,000 lines of code is a lot, but the Hello World basically has 10,000 with all the modules. So it looks like the Steam adds another 10,000 lines of code, which is impressive, but it shouldn't mean that we take 3 seconds. That's longer than... Okay. Yeah, it's still like a factor of 3. Yeah, it's a factor of almost 4. So something weird is going on. Shall we profile this? I mean, it's so short that I'm not sure if the profiling tells us anything, but it looks like this might be profile worthy. No, not telemetry. I don't have a telemetry license anymore. Let's do Tracy. Something weird is going on in the Steam bindings that we take so long. Not sure if we can see it in the profiling. Like 0.1 seconds might not be enough to see anything in the profiler, but we'll try. Let's do the x64 version also. So we have less LVM overhead. Okay, and then we do, what did I call that? Tracy, try Tracy. So we need to run Tracy, which I have somewhere. Ooh, I didn't put on my file piloter today. Should have. So let's close up. Jai sup. There should be a Tracy somewhere. Hooray, connect. I still don't like Tracy very much, but it's the best thing I know for what I'm trying to do right now. So we want to do the try Tracy. Boom. Yeah, that's it. That was already everything. Can you? Hello? Shouldn't you exit at some point? What's going on? No. Oh, there's something. But this Tracy is also basically unusable with my mouse because it does this all the time. Fuck this. Okay, where are we burning our energy? It's strange that it didn't exit on its own. But okay. So this, we run one thing, but it doesn't, like, it's 1 millisecond. It doesn't explain 20 milliseconds. Where do we waste our time? Oh, we have a long run compile time procedure here. Ooh, yes, no, I think I know what the problem is. Yeah, we have lots of run compile time procedure. Let me guess. We should change this. Let's look at the bindings. Yep. We have 5,000 lines of no 4. 4,000 lines of asserts to make sure that we got all the offsets right. Let's remove those. We want, where do we put this? Somewhere here. Generate, where's the underscore? Compile time. Can't remember exactly what it's called. Bindings, generate the module. If I seem especially slow today, it's whenever I pause to think what key I need to hit. Compile time struct checks. Where's the underscore? There. Where's the semicolon? There. Okay. Where's the colon? Yeah, we're getting somewhere. So we do JIR. Was this a? Is this a? Yes. JIR modules steam generator JI plus autorun. I'm such a fan of the autorun module. Okay. That should have saved us roughly. How many lines of code? Yeah, it removed a third of the Steam module. That's worth it. And that should bring our compile time down quite a bit. Ooh, this is new. Okay, something changed. Oh yeah, we have a regression. Looks like we have a regression. Oh no. Wait, why was this not caught? Don't we have the Steam thing in the generate all? Looks like I forgot to add it. No, it's there. It's here. Okay. Let's back off a second. Let's commit our fix. And we should add this as a regression test. How do I add this as a regression test? I would have to have something. This is cumbersome to add as a regression test, to be honest. Because I would have to add modules folder to the tests. Too bad Autorun doesn't work with customized programs. It does. It does. But you need to do some magic. Let me show you. So we have, and I do JIR just to show you, source first.jai, and I can say here this. Whoops. I need to update. Soon I can show you. But the question is, why do we have that regression? Okay, I want to add this as a regression test. The problem is adding this as a regression test is a pain in the rear because it only works if we import a submodule relatively. So we need to have something that's within the submodule. We have to have something that's within the module, but in the test folder we don't have any modules. So I need to create a program that, whatever, let's do it. We should take care of our test coverage. It's annoying, but it only takes a few minutes. Tests, regression. That's a big one. Do we have something in here? We have no. Do we have? Let's see. Tests, regression. No, wrong key. This is gonna haunt me for days now. Tests, regression module. Yeah, that's too much. I want to have backslashes. Where's the backslash? Here. Backslashes around that. Doesn't help. Still too many hits. Let's use a proper program. Tests, regression, and I want anything. It's called module, and I want to see it in here. And we want to sort by name. Oh, that doesn't work here. Oh no. But at least we can see all the hits. Maybe I want to see only folders first. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a modules. Module. Custom linker fail. We have directly a module subfolder. We have various sub. We have a modules folder right here. Regression modules. What? That's a lie. Test regression modules. Oh, it exists. It's just empty. Awesome. Bye. Okay, whatever. Let's do it by hand. So we have test regression, relative module import, and we have a main.jai in here. Why is this slow? Where's my relative? There. And we have a modules. Some module. Module.jai. Why does creating a file take 5 seconds? Curse this program. And we have, and I can't type, some module. Why does renaming take 5 seconds? And then we have examples. Actually, yeah, oh, we can do this, yeah. Example.jai. Okay, this is what we need to recreate this. And now in here we say import file dot. How did we do it in our Steam example blah test? Yeah, import. Oh, we say import dir. So I should update the. Yeah, I should update what I put in here. This is not for import file, it's for import dir. Oh, and it also, yikes, we have more regression tests to do. Okay, give me a second. So we do import dir this, but we could also import dir this, and our current fix won't work for that. Why do I do .x all the time? I like :x. I never did that before. Whatever. Some function, just to make sure that, actually no, we don't need to do anything like that. Okay, we import, and then this module has some function, maybe, let's call it module function log. Hey, from the module. We need basic for that. Actually, it's just to write string. So we don't need to import anything, because speed, and then we say example function, which just does module function. Okay, and then in main we say load modules. You would never do this. It's just we need something that like I need to have main in this folder so that the modules folder is automatically included as a lookup path for the modules. Actually, all of this would not have been necessary. I could. Whatever. Let's do it like this. It's not necessary. I could simplify this. Let's make it work. So like this. Main, and we say example function. That's what I called it, right? Yeah. Okay. So this will blow up. Let's do this. This will work with our new compiler, right? Jai tests regression relative module import main.jai. Envelope file blah 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 for reading. Did I type something wrong? Test regression with modules, some module singular. Okay, that works. If we remove our fix, if we do this, if we stash the whole party, no, it is just auto run. Give me a second. I'll show you. I'll show you. It's still updating. Sorry, I haven't updated the game for a while, and there's lots of work going on the game. Okay, I removed our fix, so now this should blow up. Yes. Okay, good. So we have a fix for this. Hooray. Let's simplify this one because it's unnecessary. We can just move this up because we don't need the module import path actually because we import relatively. So we just do this relative module import. You know what takes so long, by the way? If you're wondering why it takes so long, why does it take so long to move the file or rename the file or add a file? Because it takes so long for this nerd tree on the left to refresh that folder, which has, how many files does this file have? Like how many files do you need to have in a folder so that nerd tree takes 5 seconds to refresh it? You need 847 files. We have 847 files in this folder. 847 files means nerd tree shits the bed when it needs to refresh that folder. Isn't that awesome? Because 800 is definitely too large of a number. Let's just call it nested. Nested main.jai. And in here we import with the parent, and this is now just main, and that should give us the same regression test. Nested main, yay. And if you rebuild with our fix, this should go away. Hooray! Okay, so let's delete all the things we don't need. We can do this here quicker. So we need module and nested main, and this can actually, we can't do it here because we don't see the rest. Bye. Okay. So this is fix number 1. Fix no, it's not a real fix. Let's not commit it yet because, spoiler, it's not the whole fix. Because if we do this instead of this, this will still break because I'm stupid. Ta-da! So let's think about how we fix this. Because my fix was insufficient, as you can see. We want this one. Copy path. Bam. 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 So let's go over here. We have local, we have file path. We look at this one, so we can copy it, so we can do the old Kawabanga again. If storcomp, what was it? File path blah equals 0. I can't type anymore. Thank you, US keyboard. Printf. Good enough, even though we have a lowercase o. Just die. Okay, so problem is, of course, I did the check against 0, which won't work because our org after slash is going to be ... Am I right or am I right? Org after slash is ... Yay! Fail. So what kind of check do we do? Like, how many ways are there to do a relative path that we want to ignore? We want it to work for dot. We're going to test that as well, by the way. Let's add a test for this. So this must also work. Okay. And here we're going to have both. We're going to say A and B. We're going to have both. And then we say A dot module function and B dot module function, which is, of course, the same function, but yeah. So both of these should work, and this one should work. And we could actually, so we don't have two, so we have to run just one test. Let's do nested.jai. And of course, we wait 5 seconds for nerdtree to catch up. I think it's nerdtree that's so slow. I'm not quite sure, but I'm almost, like, it seems very likely. So we say nested, and then here we say load nested.jai, and then we say nested. Okay, so we have 3 ways how this can fail. This is now just main.jai. Yep. Okay. And we need to change this one. Like, I know it feels like bike shedding, but having these things be concise and not needing 2 tests to run when 1 test will do to catch all of them, like, that pays off in the end, because it means we have, like, if you do this more frequently, you will have half the tests you need. Which means your tests run slower, etc., etc. Faster. They run slower if you have twice as many tests than you need to cover the same thing. So I tried to keep the number of tests down while still having the full coverage. Okay. Hey, Mario. Thanks. Glad you liked the episode. Back then, it was still the Game Engineering podcast. Oh, haha. You're talking to Valigo. Sorry. Yeah, I haven't heard your episode yet, but it's on my list. I thought you were talking about my episode. Sad. I cannot compete with Valigo. Okay. Yeah. Don't. What do you call that in? What do you call these kinds of? Oh no, you were grade 2 statements in English. I don't know the English phrase for that. Just the German ones. Friends. No, it's worse. It's like pity statements or something. So congratulations on the win. No, your 5th place was great also. Really, you did really well. It's yeah, all the episodes are great. They're only great episodes. No bad everyone's unique. It's everyone's great. Everyone gets a medal. We're all just one happy family. Okay, so what do we do about this? We have various ways to reference relative path that we don't want to check. So if it ends in a slash, blah, we could just strip the tailing slash and check for if it's only dots, or do we literally compare against dot and dot dot and hope that we... What's the nicest way to check that? Maybe we shouldn't bike shed this, but my feeling is that an acceptable check would be it feels a bit wasteful, but I don't know a better way. If someone has a better way, let me know. I'll show you what I do, and then you can scream at me for being stupid. It also doesn't matter too much what we do here, but it's like not making a mess would be nice. So we just check if it's empty or this or this. Are there other cases we need to check for? Teilnehmerurkunde. Yeah. What do you call it? Participation trophies are in this case, like, is the last statement I did. But there is like, what's the... I don't know. I'm lacking the vocabulary. Doesn't matter. We're all awesome. We're all great. And this should fix the bug. Except I can't type, which is the best thing, of course. Oh, there's a missing. Come on. How bad can I be? Oh, there's one more missing. I can be pretty bad, turns out. Is this not... What's the thing for I want a white character string? Oh, I guess it's this, right? Is it this? No. Oh, fork. So many typos. Okay, let's test this. It works. And it prints hey from the module 3 times. Awesome. Okay, we want... There's full for every one of those. Thank you. Baligo, back to autorun. We can do Jai, source first dot Jai. Come on. And then we can do autorun, auto earn. Oh yeah, and we have the Steam regression we need to fix first. But you can do your metaprogram with a handful of lines, like it's not many. You can just copy paste that into your metaprogram. You can support arbitrary plugins, which is nice for autorun, but also if you want to do, I don't know, profile or what's also something you might want to drop in from time to time. There are a couple. Profile, autorun, I'm blanking on the rest. But if you add module support to your metaprogram so that it can, not module support, plugin support, which is much, like, especially you can do things like that. I can arc for autorun. These are all passed to autorun, and then I can say something, arc for something, and then this is arc for meta program, and this is also arc for this used to be hard, that you can add plugins and get the arguments split correctly. This was a pain, like was lots of lines of code in your meta program. I changed this recently so that it's really easy to add support for plugins and still get the arguments to the right plugin or your meta program, etc. It's a handful of lines. It's like, I don't know, 5 lines or something. I can show you actually. Thank you, Nivim. Another great window. You're so good at this. Let's see if I lied. How much is it actually? If you do, so you have to import metaprogram plugins. That's number 1. And then I think you have to have those 2 lines, which is a bit, if you have split, normally you can do them locally. But what do you really need? Give me a second. Yeah, this is, so you do this. So normally you would just do that, and you don't need to specify it anywhere. So this gives you the list of plugins to create and gives you the remaining arcs that are for your, no, like this is different. I'm not sure, maybe you have this already, but if you do it like this, if you say parse plugin arguments, give it all the arguments, it splits it into plugins you need to create and your arguments. This used to be different. Before you needed to remove your arguments first and then pass the remaining arcs here. Now you can do this, and it basically takes the plugin arcs, extracts them, gives you all the arcs that are not for any of the plugins, which means things that are before the first plugin or after a colon, after a slash, can't speak, after a dash. Like if you have a plugin and then a dash, then the normal arcs continue. So you get these in remaining arcs, and then you just can just go over remaining arcs to handle your arcs if you have some, and then you just use init plugins and plugins to create, and then you have your plugins, and then you have to feed the messages to the plugins, which is another couple of lines. So in total, it's maybe 10 lines extra, and you have arbitrary plugin support in your meta program. It's not too bad. So all of this existed for a while, but it's the arc parsing is what makes it powerful nowadays. Like for Sokoban, this has become very useful because we have various plugins for the different platforms that shall not be named. And it's then nice to pass arguments to the platform plugins, etc. And all of it works out of the box. Okay. We have another problem, which is we have a regression And so let's first, so we don't need the Cowabunga. This one can die. But we need this change, and we need our changes here. And we need to add this to our test suite. This one. And it's called relative module import. So we go to, where's our rel? We belong here. No. Oh, I can actually, I copied it so I can paste it here. And now we have backslashes, of course, which is awesome. We don't need to run this. It used to be only broken on Windows, but we'll just run it on all systems to be safe. And we put a comment here why we do this. Just people know why it exists. Bam. Bam. Fix Windows. And we can put that in the changelog. So much overhead. Fixed the, what did I just call it? Okay. Okay, number one done. Now let's stash this and do the Steam again. Okay, do we have a change? We have changes. So I didn't regenerate the bindings on this one. Why not? Because we have generate all. And I did run generate all. Why was this one not run? If I do generate all, which is going to take a while, by the way. Did I not run this on Windows? This will take a while. I'm gonna get another coffee in the meantime. We'll be back. All right. Are the benchmarks timings for the separate compiler phases? Yes, there are. There's a metaprogram plugin for it, which is one of the metaprogram plugins you might want to run, even if you have a custom metaprogram. Performance report, which gives you a detailed report for things that happened. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the bindings, but I'm gonna do this in security mode for a second. Oh, there's no need to do it in security mode because there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. What happened? Give me a second. I need to check. Oh no. Oh no, I broke generate all. Free type generate. This is sad. Give me a second. I have to do this in security mode. Hey, Void main. Did I switch to LVM22? Yes, I switched to LVM22 and it was slower again than 21, so I switched back. Give me just 1 second in security mode to look at this. I broke something yesterday, I guess. Wait, no, it's lying to me. This is not the problem. Oh, it's... Give me a second, I have to fix this off camera. Cause NDAs and everything. This should fix it. Okay, now it's making progress, but now we do all the bindings generation that I wanted to do in the break, which is a shame. Okay, while this is running, we might... So we don't need this one anymore because we have a regression test for that. But we want to do the Steam change. Let's see what our run does. While this runs, it takes a couple of minutes to generate all the bindings nowadays, I think. Because especially on Windows, because just including Windows.h makes the bindings generator run slow. We could take a look at these in the meantime. Why not? Let's try to parallelize, even though it's not perfect for parallelizing. Or we could look at the other regression we have here. This one, static if block parent. I think this is still broken. Let's see. Fingers, stop it. Yep, that's not good. So what are we doing here? This looks harmless. It's a static if with a switch statement underneath. But I think we have this somewhere else, right? Let's rep if there's any other case. Like, I don't know if there's something particular about this if it breaks this. Oh. Thank you, Windows. I totally wanted to hide all my windows because I moved one window around. This is such a stupid feature, but we've talked about this, so I'm not going to rant about it again. Rip grab. We want static if, and then anything, and then equals any number of spaces, and an opening bracket, and we need to escape that because that's a special character in yeah, we have a bunch of those. So this is supposed to work. Maybe all of them are at top level. These are all OS things. No, but this one doesn't seem to be it. Let's see it. Look at build Tracy. Yeah, this looks like it's in a function. It does things. Is it because of the enum, maybe? I wonder what's different. So we have an enum and we if on an enum. Oh, it's auto-baked. Maybe that's what makes it break. Let's see. If I remove the auto-bake, is this fine? Condition of if is not okay, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, this works. So the auto-bake plus static if is the thing that makes it go boom. We'll figure it out, I guess. But this is not Windows specific, so we can just commit this. So we can do it on a decent operating system. We can just go to test Sajai. And maybe we give this a better name. Static if. What do we call this? Let's call it out to be no. This is a polymorphic argument. Let's call it baked static if. And rename takes forever because nerd tree sucks. Doop 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 doo doo. This is awesome. Doop 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 doo. Okay. And this is now baked static if, it means it goes somewhere else. And this is not should failed, this is broken is true. So we can add this. Okay, how is our generate all going? It finished. And as you can see, we have a bunch of changes, but none of them are for for Steam. Did it generate Steam? Running module Steam generate auto run. So supposedly we ran this, but we saw that if we run it, we get a diff. But if generate all runs it, nothing happens. Something's off. Oh, I see. I saw. Nope. Gen all. This is a nasty one. Do we have this bug somewhere else? No. Okay. Damn, that's why we didn't see that this was a regression a while ago. Okay. Have anyone yet tried to use the Windows driver kit with Jai? I don't know. All right, the numbers on John's 2.3 seconds demo from Lambda.conf, and it seems actually work with was around. Wait, what are you talking about? And it seems x8060 debug was at around 1.5 million lines of code per second. The AI frontend of the compiler was around 200,000 lines of code per second. What? You say debug was 1.5 million lines of code, but the front end is to I don't know what I don't understand the question, RMB. Do you know what exactly is in scope for the one overall speed goal? Is the linker included? Nope, I don't think so, because the linker is an external program. I would not include the linker in that. I still don't understand why PowerToys added AI to the clipboard, because someone's performance report, what do you call it? What do they call the bullshit metrics that people get in enterprise jobs? Performance somethings? I forgot the bullshit word. Like, it was on someone's performance card or whatever it's called. No, KPI is for a company, not for a person. What do you call when you give a person in a large enterprise some bullshit metrics they have to hit to get their bonus? There's a 3-letter acronym for that nonsense. ClearNGPT asks for... OKR, no. KPI and OKR are both... Are they not for a company? Are they for people? I don't know. Yeah, Zielvereinbarung in German, exactly. Yeah, PIP is for when you want to fire someone and need an excuse to fire them. Then you give them a performance improvement plan, which is like HR bullshit for bullshit. Okay, anyways, we now know why Steam was not regenerated. Fix Steam bindings were not actually generated. Okay, that's a fix. But the problem is this regression. When did this happen? And how do we figure that out now? No, MBO is the word for the stupid people that do the thing. It's not the word for the actual metrics. Maybe it's KPI, but I thought KPI is for a company or for parts of a company, not for a person. Maybe it's KPI. I can't remember. Whatever. Did you finally end up updating LVM? I did update LVM as I told someone else before. Who was it? It was one of our regulars. Forgot. Someone asked. Yeah, we did update and then downgrade again because it got slower again. Void main? Yeah, it might have been void main. Okay, so we need to find why this regressed. I think I want to git bisect. I think I want to git bisect that. Okay. Okay. We're going to toss this away. We're going to go, I don't know. Let's go back. It could be a while. Let's go somewhere here. Uh-oh, was there an LVM updated? No, it's February. It can't be that. Why is it that slow? There were some big changes in between. Looks like there were some big changes. See, I was hoping that LVM 22 got slightly faster again, but it did not. So we want to do this one. We want a single thing we can run. So we're gonna do JIR modules steam examples example.jai and see if that runs. Yeah, this looks like a good commit, which means we should not have any changes. We have no changes. Okay, so this is a... It would help if I could type. Okay, let's do it here. It's a good... What? Okay, that's okay. I love fork. Fork is great, but it seems like I started the bisect and say by using the new. There are two ways to run git bisect nowadays. You can say good bad and you can say new old. And I thought they were just aliases, but it looks like if you say new, you have to say old. You can't just say bad now. So I will have to say, and fork doesn't know that, so it just gives you good, bad, skip. So I should have said bad instead of good, instead of new. So we're going to say git bisect. Oh, and it's good, by the way. Did I type? Ah, bold. So we get to do that. And this is good. So old, I should have used the other one. That is also old. So this broke relatively recently, looks like. Or our test is wrong. We'll see it. Wait. This seems to... Yeah, this is all fine. Where are we currently? Where's head? Show me head. Where do I want to see head. Where am I? How do I jump to head? Show head. We're ready in April. Okay, this must be wrong. I might have picked the wrong test. This is all working. Oh, now it's broken. Okay, so this is new. This is old. This is old. And this is new. Okay, so it broke. Add support to generate constructor destructor bridges. What? Is new old politically motivated speech replacement like Mastermain? No, not necessarily, because it makes sense. Like if you're trying to find a change and it's not necessarily bad, like if both are good, but you want to see, I don't know, when something changed, it might make sense to not have good, bad, to have like neutral verbs of like, when did this change? I hope it was not the nonsense like Mastermain. Like it seems weird if that was the case. So I think it's just if you don't have good, bad, but you just want to see when something new happened, it makes sense to have old, new, I think. Okay, we're gonna abort. We know that it happened here, so let's see what did I do here that broke this. I mean, I did a bunch of stuff, but what happened here? What did I... I added placement new for bridge. Like I did a bunch of changes to improve bridge support. Oh, I know why. I know why. It's gonna be because we do a comparison. Well, but like I know I did a big change here that might affect this, but I don't understand why it would affect this. Let's look at the diff. Maybe it's... But it shouldn't. Because we should just check the signed versus unsigned flag to determine if we output something in hex. So why? Maybe we compare... Okay, no, I have an idea where this might... I have a hunch. Do we compare somewhere against explicit types? Type def u... So let's see. Do we compare against typef? Yes. Okay. Got it. Found it already. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that this code existed. Okay. So we can no longer compare directly against types. That's the big change. The battle is over. Main has been a default for a while. Nope. I'm strongly in the master camp, as you can see. This is such a stupid change. And I've heard some big figures saying that it's stupid and we should use master again. So maybe... I don't think the battle... like GitHub is never going to change back. But you don't have to, like... You can just ignore that. Okay. This all needs to change. We will have to say... If target type flag, no, it's number flags, I think. Okay, this is a quick fix. This is not a big deal. Number flags. And I have to make sure that it's unsigned. Okay, assert target type and target type number flags and signed And then we can just say if target type size is 1, blah. Target type size is 2. We can actually do just a nice Jai thing. Oops. See, our code even got a bit nicer. Okay. Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, same down here. I'm just gonna copy pasta this and make sure we don't break anything. We ensure that this is not, yeah, we can just do this. And then here we just do S. And we do the S64 value. Bam. Done. And here we have another exceed signed in value. Same thing. Let's do assert. This assert might go off, by the way. This is defensive programming for now to see if this can be null, because I don't know. If target, come on, type number flag, not fags. Fingers, come on, please. Bam. And then we do this again. It would have been easier too. Whatever. Okay. Anyone else who does anything offensive like that? Nope. So this should fix our regression. Unless we hit the asserts, which we might. Hooray! Looking good. Now all these wrong consts are gone. That's the thing I fixed with the thing that broke the number printing, but the number printing is also right now. Okay. Fix regression introduced in, what was it? Why is everything slow today? In this one, which version was this? Okay. Okay. So we do the generate all again. Just to check. You're a performance wing extremist. That's yeah. We should we should form the performance wing. I like the phrase performance wing extremist. I'm a performance wing moderate, but still. Okay, so that's another thing fixed that wasn't even on my list, which is nice. We're gonna check afterwards if we didn't break anything, but I'm almost certain that this is good. So we push this and we switch to a nice operating system. And we pull in all that stuff. And we make sure that we didn't break anything here without changes. Oh, by the way, guys, you didn't complain about the fonts. Oh, it's not that bad. The font size in Windows isn't that bad, actually. Okay. All right. We have lots of more. Let me see. Return value alias. Yeah, we can't do a regression test for that. Unfortunately, I wanted to, but it doesn't work in this case. But this is for something I fixed recently. But I can't test it because in this simple case, the optimizer doesn't do the bad thing. So we're gonna toss this one away. Who did that? Hello, I said history. Why is everything slow today? Where did these come from and why are they vanished now? I mean, it's fine that they have vanished, but why were they there in the first place? Okay, whatever, I don't care. It's gone. Being gone is good. How are we doing? We're still compiling stuff. These are all nonsense changes, and we should, while we're here, regenerate the Linux bindings. So we need to docker build. What's our current beta? 29. Okay. So yay, we run a Docker build. Oh, and this might no longer run. This might no longer. I can't speak. Shit. Today is a great day for streaming. This might no longer. This might no longer. Okay, this might no longer run on 1804 because we were forced to recompile LVM on 2004 recently because of something that I would have lost every bet that this might happen, but it happened when we updated to 2004. So we had to recompile LVM. Want to know the details? Let me know if you want a rant about C++ ABI compatibility. So we might have to change our Docker file and change this to 2004, and then probably everything else is broken. We'll see. Anyways, generate the bindings here worked. We only have meaningless changes except for the Steam one. I want to discard. Okay. Good. Regen Mac. Oh, we could just fold this into this one. Yeah, this is going to take a while. Let's look into more repros. So we added one. We can start with this one. We added one, what do they call it? Still broken? No. Regression from not yet fixed compiler bug. Yeah, baked static if. We can look at baked static if on this. Let's make sure that it's repros here. We want the ARM debug compiler. So jai tests regression baked static if dot jai. Oh, my bad. Yep, fails. So let's start a shitty debugger and see what's going on. Regression. Maybe I should not add all of. You know what? Let's clean house. Boom. And stop having every regression test in here. Thanks. See you, RMB RT. How does the binding generator work? Is it translating a header file? It's using libclang to compile the headers and then extract information about the syntax tree from libclang and then generate a JAI, hopefully JAI equivalent code for all the definitions. It ignores function implementations. We're not converting implementations. We're just converting declarations, which means anything that's implemented inline is going to vanish. If you need the inline implementation of things, you'd have to re-implement it by hand or generate a wrapper. Okay, we report an error. Unable to open file. Oh, that's interesting. Do we have a stupid working directory? Nope. Did I mistype it? Tests. Yes, I did. Okay. So where are we? We're inferring types on an expression, and this is the feature that prevents me from using Rat Debugger. I mean, over here, obviously we don't have Rat Debugger, but when working on a compiler, I can't use Rat Debugger often because I need this. So we have a static if. We're inferring the type on the static if. Which means we go in and we have here we do blah 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 erst case. So this one fails. Why is this one failing? Is this that's strange. Okay. We do accept block. And we give it the then block. What is the then block? Is it sane? It looks sane. Oh, because it's the one that's, yeah, we take this one because it's the accepted case. Obviously, it's a static if, so we check which one of the cases is accepted. We accept this one, padding with ceiling, which is probably right. What happened here? We say default. Default is 0, which is padding with ceiling. Okay, so we accepted this one. This is correct. Good. So far, so good. So we accept the block, we give the then block, and we give it the static if. And accept block does what? Target scope is get current block. What is target scope? Yes, that seems correct. It is a block. What kind? You're an imperative block. That makes sense. Your parent should be the function header or something. Yeah, the arguments block. Okay. All seems very sensible to me. And so what's our problem? Yeah, the block belongs to static if. Makes sense. If this block is a case block inside the if, we also need to set up the static ifs block. Someone smart wrote this. I don't understand it. It's only been, well, it's been a year. Okay, it's fine. Hey, PP. So if it is a case block, where does this come from? Yeah, we say it is a case block. If it is a case block, we say the parent of the block must be the then block of the static if, which is not the case. Right? Who are you? Block parent is this one. The static if has a this is the static if then block. Why do we say the parent block should be the static if then block? And why is this not the case here? And why do we care about that assert? So we expect the, that's interesting. We expect the est cases then block to have its parent be the static if block, but that's not happening right now. So the est cases then block is set up incorrectly, not as the assert expects. We will have to see where this gets parented. So we're gonna take this one, which has this serial number, and we'll see when it gets generated. So we're gonna go to interp CPP. In here, we should have some debug dump. I haven't done this in ages. Debug dump AST. Nope. Sorry. Debug stamp. Yes. Boom. And then we go to interp.h, which probably doesn't exist in this freaking project again because it gets deleted from time to time for reasons that are beyond me. Add files. And we're going to take the source. And we're going to say add. And now we have to be careful. We want to add it. Reference file in place. Create groups. Yes. Thank you. And now I can say interp.h, and maybe I should have not added it to the target. We'll see. We might have to redo this. Anyways, we should have here debug stamp. I'm going to set a breakpoint here. We're going to rerun. Yeah, okay. So what I did was wrong. Oh no. How do I... Because I added OS files that shouldn't be here. At least the CPP files. Bam, 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 bam. Maybe now? Nope. OS specific common is blowing up. Let's remove these as well. Okay, fertig. Copy block settings. Copy block setting into important things. Oh, so that's why it's important that it's a polymorphic procedure. If it's a polymorphic procedure, so we should change the name of the test to include polymorphic or something. Well, bake is implies polymorphic. Okay. So if it's a polymorphic procedure, we're gonna make a copy of the concrete instantiation. And when we make the copy of the static if, we don't set up the blocks correctly. And that's why things blow up afterwards. Okay. So we do copy. What? Yeah, we have an if, we do the then block. And we copy block setting important things. Again, and then for all the statements, we copy them. And I guess if we look at this one, yep, it's the switch statement. So we copy the then block. And I guess who does the parent setting in this case? Someone has to set up the... Who sets the parent? There's something smart happening here. We have a block. We copy block setting important things. How does it get its parent set? Because we would have to set it to the copy, which we obviously are doing somewhere. I just don't see where it's happening. The copy macro does what? So we copy the case and then block, all makes sense, but who sets the parent? Okay, we're just gonna do this the debugger way. I'm gonna step over. Oh, step over is a different keyboards binding on macOS, of course. So we're gonna step over. We have a dest, and then we're gonna set a data breakpoint on dest. Oh, dest parent is set. Wait a second. That's wrong. Why is this? Are we not yet? Are we done copying? I guess we're not done copying. Okay, we have a dest. Dest is okay. This was before initialization. Never mind. All good. We have no parent, so we're gonna say watch point, right? Wait, do I have this? Nope, doesn't persist across debug sessions. That's a shame. Watch point set expression. Can't remember the details. Come on. It's S. Okay, S8, and the expression is gonna be dest parent. What? Oh, help. Okay, and let's continue and see where this gets set. Boom. Child new block without ownership. Okay, so this happens in copy block setting important things, which is right after the thing we just stepped over. Child new block without ownership. What are you doing? Oh, we have a block stack. Okay, that explains the magic. I assume we look up things on the block stack. So, yeah, we set the parent from the block stack. So the bug is that we don't push the static ifs then block. Oh no. 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 Don't do that. Fuck. So this is the source of the bug. Problem is we do this deliberately. So there's a reason for that. So if I just remove that, something else is gonna break. And I don't want to play whack-a-mole. So the big question is, what's the right thing to do here? Cliffhanger break. Let's see what our generate all did over here. Whoa. Loads of changes. Some of them confidential. So I'll go into private and have a look at these. Okay, almost all of them were just new line changes. Actually, all of them were irrelevant. That's good. Which means our fix for the regression didn't break anything. That's good to know. And we come back to non-private. How's our... This is not good. Oh yeah, this is exactly what I meant. We can no longer build on Ubuntu 18.04 because exactly that. I hate C++ so hard. Okay, so we have to upgrade. Isn't that great? So, story time. I recently had to recompile LLVM on Ubuntu 20.04 because this might be the last thing we do on stream. Because of C++ API, genau. Okay, following. Imagine you try to use containers to have a stable build environment. Imagine you're using on Windows the what's the crap called, Windows Subsystem for Linux, and you use the Ubuntu 18.04 container on Windows Subsystem for Linux to build Jai for Linux. That's what we're doing. Like I here use a Docker container, but on our build server we have like the build server runs on Windows, and it has a worker, like a client basically for macOS. So there's a dedicated macOS machine that connects to the Windows machine, and it builds the macOS version. And we have a Windows client that runs on the build machine and builds the Windows version. And we have a WSL 18.04, Ubuntu 18.04 container on the build machine where the Linux client runs and builds the Linux version. Okay, all good so far. That has worked for years. Then recently the build server failed because of an SSD issue, and John set up a new build server. That new build server has Windows 11, whatever. There is no Ubuntu 18.04 anymore. So we can't install WSL 18.04 because it doesn't exist anymore. So we updated to Ubuntu 20.04, which is the oldest one that you can still get. So we just installed the build server client, so the build client, you would say, on Ubuntu 20.04. And we could set it up, it compiles, and when you run the newly compiled compiler on Ubuntu 20.04, you compile. So if you compile it on 18.04, you can run it on 20.04, obviously. If if you compile it on Ubuntu 20.04, it suddenly crashes when we do anything in LVM. So that's weird. x64 backend works fine. Everything works fine. If you use the LVM backend, suddenly all the tests crash reliably in one of the first calls to LVM. Not the first call, but one of the first calls. Which is strange because the compiler source obviously is version control. It's the same source that we compiled on Ubuntu 18.04. The LVM headers are, we render all the dependencies, so the LVM headers are in our repository, checked in. So it's the same LVM headers. We compile against the same LVM headers. The LVM binaries are hand-built and checked into our repository. So we have the same LVM binaries on Ubuntu 18.04 and 20.04. Same headers, same binaries, same compiler source. It compiles, it crashes when you run it. And I had to debug this and debugged it, and it was fun because I had to debug the assembly because you don't have debug information under the LVM build. And it's I had to debug the assembly and see why the function call was crashing. And it was taking a wrong branch. So we step through our functions, I step into LVM functions, and it crashes because it takes a jump it shouldn't take. Weird. Why does it take the jump? Oh, it thinks that one of the arguments is 0 when it should be 1. Why does it think the argument is 0? Because it should be, it should be 1. It took me so long to figure this out because, of course, the LVM codebase being as it is, the function we are crashing in is 3 levels deep, and the 3 levels, so we call into LVM, and then LVM calls something, and then the next call in there crashes. And the 3 calls in between are generated by a macro. So the function definitions are generated by a macro in the LVM codebase, and the functions they're calling are generated by macros, and they all heavily use STL. So you have a mixture of macro-generated code that uses a lot of STL, and then 3 layers deep, it's crashing. And then have to debug that in assembly because we don't have debug information for the thing. It was fun 4 hours of my life. Turns out, does someone want to guess why it crashed? Why it got the wrong argument? Oh yeah, and another hint. So one of the 3 calls in the middle has default argument values. And the default argument values are some STL containers, like an STD optional, and in there it has some STD map, whatever. And then after that, there are 2 arguments, and one of them gets misinterpreted. And another hint, recompiling our LVM binaries on Ubuntu 20.04 fixed the problem. And another hint, we're using the same compiler version. So I use Clang 10. We pin the compiler version. So we use Clang 10 on Ubuntu 18.04. We use Clang 10 on Ubuntu 20.04. We use the same LVM headers. We use the same binaries of LVM, the libraries. It still crashes on 20.04 if you compile it and then run it. Yeah, okay, API change, but what API change? What kind of API changed? Because we're using the same headers, we're using the same version of LVM, we use the same compiled version of LVM. Nothing on our end. Like, what API changed? We're using the same compiler, we're using the same C++ version. If you're Linux build, yeah, I told you the answer a while ago, right? Nope, it's not a libstd C++ change. Try again. It's way more fun. Okay, I'm gonna resolve it. Between Ubuntu 18.04 and 20.04, something about the C standard library headers that ship with the operating system changed. They don't seem to ship with the compiler, but with the operating system. I don't know exactly, I didn't look into where it included it from, but something changed about the standard library headers so that the ABI compatibility of some of these STD optional or STD maps or whatever. They changed the internal layout with like so. We update from 1804 to 2004. So we get a new version of the C standard library headers. And in the headers, there seems to have changed something that changed the internal layout of one of these types, either for STD optional or STD, I think it was a map or a set or something is used in there as well, in one of the parameters that gets passed before the two simple Boolean and integer arguments that get mangled up. Because they changed something about the internal representation of these STD types, their ABI rules changed. So they need a different amount of registers to get passed on System 5. Yeah, oh, I forgot to mention. Yeah, we're on System 5 because it's Linux. And the System 5 ABI rules define how structs get passed if you pass them by value. And one of the things is they can take a different number of registers. This is only on System 5. On Windows, the ABI rules are different and you would get different effects. But on System 5, a struct that gets passed as an argument can take up 1 register, 2 register, up to 8 registers. And if you change the internal layout of a struct, it changes how many registers that argument takes. Which means if you change the ABI of a standard C type and it's one of the arguments and then you have arguments after that, the arguments after that get like, if you have a type in between that used to take 3 registers and now it takes 2 registers, it means all the registers after it are gonna get reinterpreted differently. And so what happened is, even though we pin our dependencies and check in the binaries to avoid all of this shit, since they changed the internal layout of STD structs somewhere in between 1804 and 2004, the STD type took a different amount of arguments, different amount of argument registers. So the effect was that at the end there were 2 simple arguments. One was a Boolean, one was an integer. And because the number of registers shifted, it interpreted the Boolean as being the integer or vice versa. I can't remember. So it was an off by 1 in the register interpretation. And that meant it took the wrong branch and that caused a crash. So the fix would be to link against, no, it's not linking. This is a compile error. This is not linking. The binaries are fine. The problem is that when we recompile on, it's not stacked because, like, remember, if I take the version that was compiled on 1804 and run it on 2004, it's fine. It's not a binary compatibility issue. It's like the dynamic glibc is fine. The problem is that the headers change, which means when you recompile, your compiler, so we had LVM compiled on 1804. LVM still, like the LVM library that we compiled, still assumed that this, I don't know, STD optional type takes 3 registers. So all the code that's the function code in there assumes that it needs to look like that 3 registers taken by the optional, so the 4th register is the Boolean or whatever. Now you recompile the compiler that calls into LVM. You recompile it on 2004, where the optional only takes 2 registers. And so now when we pass the arguments from our compiler to LVM, it's going to encode the optional. That's, by the way, we don't even create. It's a default argument in one of the LVM functions. But since the LVM functions are in a header and templated, they get inlined into our binary. And in our binary, it passes the argument as 2 registers. So 1 register is missing. And that's why when you call into the function, you get screwed. What a shit show. Yeah. So that's why we no longer can now. So now we have checked in the binaries that were compiled on Ubuntu 2004. So now we can no longer compile on 1804 because now we have a binary compatibility because they were linked against the newer version of glibc, which means now we at least get compile errors. We don't no longer crash on a different Ubuntu, but like older Ubuntus, I can't link, as you can see here. We get link errors on Ubuntu 1804 because the binaries were linked at 2004, which has a newer version of glibc, and now we get these kinds of issues. But the crash that we got, like if someone had told me, oh yeah, they silently changed the internal layout of some STL structs between 1804 and 2004, whatever the version of the headers that they're using is, and therefore like you get silent binary breakage when you recompile, what a clusterfuck. Anyways, I have to sign off because my lunch is ready and I want to eat with the family. So I'm going to stop the stream here and debug this issue offline. But I hope this was a nice ending story. Great things on Linux. Have a nice day. See you all soon. Bye.